Jim Cornette is someone who has never been shy of controversy, whether it be due to his feuds with wrestlers, comments he's made, or in the case of today's video, both combined. And one wrestler who Jim has always been outspoken on since the day he was introduced to her is AEW and Joshi wrestler Riho. And recently, Cornette has found himself embroiled in controversy due to some comments he made about Riho, and for the fact that Riho deactivated her Twitter, which many are attributing to Jim Cornette's comments that he has made about her in the past. Welcome to the Top 10 Wrestling channel. This is the Jim Cornette versus Riho controversy. Some might say Cornette is baiting for interactions with this whole controversy going on, and speaking of bait, why don't you do me a favor and let me bait you into talking about today's sponsor, Fishing Clash. Fishing Clash is a game available on iOS and Android that has console-level breathtaking graphics and allows you to travel around the world and fish in different locations. All you gotta do is go out there and catch some fish using your lures. These lures can be upgraded, and the better they are, the better fish you're gonna catch and level up and unlock more features of the game even quicker. And you can play the game in many different ways you like. If you want to have just a nice relaxing fishing trip on your own, then go for it. Ah, what a nice relaxing day out in the lake. Come on. Or alternatively, you can compete against other players with Fishing Clash's Duels mode. It's proper PvP, you're playing against other players, you can play against a random player online, or you can play against your own friends and take them on one-on-one in the ultimate Fishing Clash. Hey, that's the name of the game. Download the game using my link in the description box or scan the QR code you see on my screen and take part in the St. Patrick's event. Use my special gift code TOP10 to get a $20 value reward for free. With my gift code, you'll get a unique avatar, 1 mythical lure card, 50 luck power-ups, and 30 weight power-ups to help you catch bigger fish. Help support the channel and get the game now. Links down below. Jim Cornette has never been fond of Riho since he was first introduced to her. In fact, he's not really been fond of the Joshi wrestling in general in AEW. The first AEW Women's title match was between Riho and Nyla Rose on the inaugural Dynamite in October of 2019. And Jim Cornette gives his thoughts on it and his thoughts on the fact that Riho won the title and became the first ever AEW Women's World Champion.
Next match was Nyla Rose, the Beast, and Riho. She's a 98-pound Japanese schoolgirl, and she's against a 200-pound self-proclaimed Native American beast. As soon as Jim Ross had to acknowledge that they had just said that Riho had been a pro for 13 years, therefore she had turned professional wrestler at age of 9, when that had to come out of his mouth, this whole thing became hot garbage to me. It is destroying Nyla Rose that she is selling for this fucking Japanese schoolgirl. I'm sorry if I'm offending anyone. And then Riho wins the match and is the women's champion. She is as big as a 9-year-old girl, which apparently I found out something else here in a minute. Because they bring out Michael knock it the fuck off and get the fuck off my television to interview her. This is the goddamn 9-year-old girl that this fucking twit. And he has got a Japanese schoolgirl fetish. And there is something going on between Riho and Kenny Omega.
So yeah, what you heard there was obviously Jim Cornette's thoughts on Riho when she won the title. And you know, his thoughts on her haven't really changed too much since then. Obviously, since he talked about her in that clip, in that particular episode, Riho has gone on to lose the AEW Women's title, and due to COVID and all the travel restrictions and just everything the last couple of years, the fact she works and lives in Japan, she's been pretty on and off with her time and appearances in AEW, usually coming in for a couple of stints at a time lasting a few months. Riho recently returned to AEW after a 5-month-long absence in October of 2022, and Jim Cornette was obviously absolutely thrilled by this news.
The next match, and I'm not kidding anybody, was for the interim women's title with Toni Storm defending against Hikaru Shida. She's still there. And then here comes the music for Riho. She's back.
To save the division.
Here comes this buck-toothed 87-pound girl in a frilly pink frock with that constant quizzical look on her face like she's confused at seeing colors. And she runs in the ring, drop kicks Reba, comes off the top rope with a crossbody to the floor on Hayter and looked like it killed her, and makes this giant comeback from this 10-year-old girl, at least 10-year-old size girl, that upstaged the biggest female name that they have ever signed.
And all this context kind of brings us to where we are now today with this current controversy that Jim Cornette has found himself embroiled in due to comments he made about Riho. So Riho very recently deactivated her Twitter account, and following the deactivation of her Twitter account, Jim Cornette began trending on Twitter, with many people on Twitter attributing the deactivation of her account to Jim Cornette and comments that he's made about her in the past and present. Jim Cornette would go on to address these claims in episode 473 of The Experience, where he talks about Riho deactivating her Twitter account and talks about who he thinks really is to blame for it. And yeah, this clip is where the controversy comes in.
Should we talk about AEW's television program this past Wednesday night?
I was wondering where you were going with that. Yes, we could do that.
Well, the world of AEW, and I guess, am I apparently trending again as we're talking now because of something that I was not even involved in, but the AEW fans just hate me to begin with?
It's been about a day or so, and yes, you are trending. You have been trending. You continue to trend. You're a very trendy guy.
Trendy McTrenderson. So Riho has gotten off of Twitter. I never tweeted her that I'm aware of, and I didn't follow her, so I didn't know about this, but I read about it from people tweeting me saying, well, it's your fault. So how was I responsible for Riho getting off of Twitter?
From the best of my knowledge, what happened was Riho deactivated her Twitter account, and people right away, well, I shouldn't say people, a subsect of fans ran right away with the idea that she's being harassed by Jim Cornette's fans. And they came to this conclusion because Riho said nothing. They came to this conclusion because in the past, Kenny Omega has complained about fans in North America being vocal on Twitter with...
Oh, the ones they broadcast their television program to. The fans in North America, where their company is located.
That's right. So Riho deactivated her Twitter, and people jumped to the conclusion that it was because of you. And I've not seen anything explicitly say that Riho quit Twitter because English-speaking fans were harassing her. So I hate to just jump to conclusions like that. Unfortunately, a lot of people did.
And again, this is so someone that they have never met gets off of Twitter. And this is a reason for them to have violent fantasies of my immediate death.
So yeah, he first starts talking about the whole deactivation saga and talking about how he feels he isn't to be blamed for it and who really is to be blamed for it. And then he goes on to talk about Hana Kimura, who, a quick trigger warning, we're about to discuss the topics of suicide. Hana Kimura, if you don't know, was a Joshi wrestler, a female Japanese wrestler, who sadly passed away after taking her own life due to harassment that she received online. And Jim Cornette went on to talk about her in regards to this Riho controversy and situation with her deactivating her Twitter account, and this is what caused a lot of heat on him.
Are you serious? She is a grown woman. Have we established she's in her 30s?
She's not in her third. I don't think we've established that.
Didn't we say that? She's like 30, 31, 32? How old is she?
Hold on. No, I think she's in her 20s. Riho is 25 years old.
Okay, she's 25 years old then. She's got miles on her. And it's all the fault of those Cornette fans. Well, you might have something to hang your hat on there. But she got off Twitter. She's an adult with a high-paying job that she's not particularly good at.
Those we do here, but a couple things. One, when I heard this news, I had two thoughts. One was, of course, Hana Kimura, who passed away via suicide after being harassed by Japanese, I don't even think it was wrestling fans. Was it wrestling fans or just Japanese fans of reality TV?
But here's the thing. They have, not to get on a soapbox here, but they have these girls. Not only do they do the wrestling thing with the Joshis, with the little small girls and the underage girls with the wrestling. We've seen the video footage, but they also have the, what do they call them? The idol bands, where they have them sing and make pop stars out of them. We were talking about the Monkees a little while ago. It's not necessarily that they have musical talent, but that they're cute young girls.
That's what she was on, a reality show, Hana Kimura. That's what it was.
Yes, and then they have reality TV shows where they put these, either the pop idols or the whatever on the, and she did some innocuous thing to anybody in the American culture or whatever, but it was something that they thought badly of over there and harassed her about it, the fans of this reality show, on Twitter, and she committed suicide, which is horrible. And that's why I maintain that some people should not be public figures. You can't be a public figure and expect everybody to love you and say good things. And as we've known with Twitter, this has been the opportunity for every asshole that's ever existed now to be able to say shit to people that they would have never been able to even talk to or get near before. And you got to expect that.
Many people took to Twitter following this to call out Jim Cornette for his mention of Hana Kimura and for not taking responsibility, as they believe he is the reason why Riho deactivated her Twitter account. Jim Cornette acknowledges Hana Kimura, a former Japanese pro who committed suicide due to online harassment. Instead of apologizing for creating the Riho harassment, he blamed Riho for wanting to remain a public figure, shaking my head. Hell is hot, and Cornette will find out soon enough. No excuses. I don't care who you are. If you support Jim Cornette, especially after what he said in regards to Riho/Hana, you are a shitty person and a shitty wrestling fan. Jim Cornette is a piece of shit, and his supporters are pieces of shit too. The initial tweet that clipped up that bit of him talking about Hana Kimura has over 800,000 views on Twitter. And yeah, as you can tell from the tweets I read, it really stirred up a controversy. And I can understand why a lot of people were angry. Talking about Hana Kimura is a very sensitive subject because Hana was very young when she passed away. And it was overall just a really sad situation. And I think the last thing people should be doing is using her to push a narrative or using her name for an argument. And I think that's exactly where the heat for Jim Cornette has came from. I don't know what the validity to the claims are of Jim Cornette being the reason that Riho deleted her Twitter account, but if it is the reason why, if his supporters harassing her is the reason why Riho deleted her Twitter account, then yes, Jim Cornette really needs to be more careful when talking about people and the way he talks about people. There are definitely times in the past where he's definitely taken it a bit too far, and maybe this time was one of those. Either way, regardless if Jim Cornette has anything to do with Riho's deactivation of her account, all we can say is that we just hope Riho's doing okay and that her mental health is doing well. And I really do hope that Jim Cornette didn't have anything to do with it, but if he did, then I think him and his supporters probably need to be a little more careful with the way they talk about wrestlers in a public manner. But regardless, let me know what you guys think of the controversy in the comments down below. And make sure to download Fishing Clash, links down in the description, to help support the channel today. Make sure to use the code TOP10, and I'll see you guys in the next one.